Amakhosi, Amakhosi, Amakhosi for life. Aish! Kaizer Chiefs, Kaizer Chiefs. Amakhosi Network, Amakhosi faithful, Kaizer Chiefs supporters. Tomorrow we play Mamelodi Sundowns. Masandawan. We play a wounded beast. And tomorrow we are going to chop off its limbs and pride. We will be ending the dynasty of Kaizer Chiefs of Sundowns tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the day we bury a big spending team. Tomorrow the billionaires will be crying with 200 rand notes. Tomorrow the Sundowns fans will return to their original teams, Swallows, Kaizer Chiefs. Tomorrow Allende puts in a transfer request. Tomorrow Ukadoso gets exposed, but Mina, I support Cardoso. He must stay until forever. That is my coach. He must continue to dismantle this thing called Sundowns, and he must continue talking about trimming the squad. He must trim it fat, because I can see the players he likes. He must trim the fat, trim all of them. Allende must be next. Trim him now. Akakusebenzeli Cardoso. Trim him. Trim bonke, Notebogo Mokoena. It's not the one. Trimmer wena, ungabuzi, trimmer. Your squad must be 18. And 2 of those players, 1 must be Kekan, 2 must be Libos. That must be the squad you have for the rest until Guzogyo Val. But anyway, before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am here to talk about Kaizer Chiefs starting lineup, which is going to be a rough one, but it's going to be one that is there to tlatamula other people's kids. Nihlegan, anhlek. This is not funny. So ngoba bantu kusaz. We must wear the black and grey Kaizer Chiefs keeper tomorrow. Yeah. You know, as Kaizer Chiefs fans, before we go to games, we now need to decide what color we must wear, gold or black, so we can show our dominance. But anyway, before I get into that, let's talk about the starting lineup. Peterson, obvious. We don't have any questions. All I'm saying is that Ntwari is wasting a foreign spot. Ntwari must go. Ntwari, I'm sorry to be talking negative in this video, but you are holding a very important position. And you know what, Chiefs? Let us lose the finances on Ntwari. Like, don't keep him because you can't sell him. Just release him. It's a failed project. We maybe spend 7 to 8 million on him. If we don't get anything back, it's fine. At this point, it's fine. You know, you win some, you lose some. We won on Tama free agents. Maybe we lose with the goalkeeper. But anyway, the next player that we need to discuss is the left back. Paseka Marco is most likely to start tomorrow against Sundowns, because we have Ushinga injured and Ukros also being said to be injured. I'll put this disclaimer out there, and this is my disclaimer. A lot of these people have been mentioned to be injured, but 1 or 2 of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to have recovered by the time we play Sundowns. I wouldn't be surprised. And one of them is Aiden McCarthy. Because the Aiden McCarthy one, he's also injured, and he hasn't played since, he hasn't basically trained with the Kaizer Chiefs squad since he got injured. What it looked like, I think it mentioned to be like a hamstring. Hamstrings tend to take a while to heal, but because the medical team of Kaizer Chiefs hasn't really given too much of a detailed update on how long he's going to be out and stuff like that, a part of me makes it feel like there's a possibility they rested him throughout the week, played no football, partook in nothing, and then they're going to assess him on the match day. So on the match day, you know, when they do their match fitness tests before the field, I think Aiden might be there just to see how he looks and stuff. I'm just saying. So for what the centre back, maybe left centre back, or might be Aiden McCarthy, Or it might be, most likely, if the injuries are concerned, Kwinika. Right is going to be Miguel. Right back is probably going to be Paseka. Monyani, right back. If they don't play Kwinika, I don't see a world where they don't play Kwinika, just because it would feel like he's taking too much of a risk if he tries bringing like a Frosler there at the center back. I think he'll just bring in Kwinika. Then here's where it gets a bit interesting. Why do I say it gets interesting? Is that our midfield, you can tell Nabi and the crew have not really found that combination that can play close to 80 minutes together in the midfield. The combination that we have works in patches. So sometimes they give you a good 20 minutes together, then they are bad for the rest of the time, or that's what we're working with in the middle. Or sometimes the individuals are playing well, but they're just not finding each other on the field in terms of our midfielders. So one we know is definitely going to be there is Thabo Cele. Number two, who I think is definitely going to also be there, is Siphesihle Ndlovu. I think those two are going to be there. Here's where the tricky part comes, because I just mentioned Thabo Cele and Siphesihle Ndlovu, right? But there's a reason this makes it difficult. Number one, when you play Thabo Cele and Siphesihle Ndlovu, there's two ways you can play them. You can either play them as a double 8 or double 6, or a deep lying 6 and a more advanced 8. But the trick about this is that as much as we have those two players, there's two ways you play them. Number one, it's either you play Umthetwa behind them, which adds an extra element of protection, right? But what happens is that if you add Umthetwa, it compromises your attack, because these guys in front, Ndlovu, Cele, they are not the most, let's say, creative on-ball midfielders, but they are not the worst you'll find in the PSL. So they can find a crazy pass, they can do all of those things, but it's not a thing they do naturally and consistently. Whereas when you see, then the next option is for them to either play a number 10, instead of playing Umthetwa, play Cele and Ndlovu, and play a number 10, which could be Serino or Dushabalal. When you play the 10, that's where you get the tag, and then Ucele and Ndlovu become more of your bite. But there's problems we've seen with these combinations that I mentioned. Number one, when you put Mthethwa, Cele, and Ndlovu together, you struggle to get the ball, the creativity, out towards the wingers and the strikers. Like, your striker almost does not really get a taste of the ball a lot. The ball ends up more of the defenders and the midfielders, but we can't advance us forward. And then other times, when you remove Umthetwa and you add Dushabalala, and you leave these guys, the other problem that we tend to find as well is that even if Mdu is there to assist the team, he tends to sometimes look like a second striker, which puts you in the same problem. The problem that you may have 2 8s and not have Umthetwa, but you need Mdu to drop into the middle more to assist the Ndlovu and Ucele. Which is why in the last game, we saw in the second half when they added Unqobo onto the game, Unqobo had a better game because they basically sacrificed Ndlovu and Cele, and then let's say Ndlovu, if I remember correctly. And when they put Unqobo, who was more on the right, he started finding those outfield balls. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that that's what makes our midfield difficult, because the way we play, the players that we have, they play, them being together, it doesn't really give the output that one would want. When I say it doesn't really give the output, I'm like, when you have a midfield in the team and that midfield can both attack and defend, we have not hit that balance. We have hit a balance where we can put a midfield in the team that can defend, and then we can put a midfield in the team that can defend and hold possession, or we can put a midfield in the team that can attack but is limited on defense. That is what we get, and we haven't found the balance there. I don't know who we are part of. Some of us were hoping that balance is going to be the introduction of Undlovu, but it hasn't quite clicked as yet. So for now, I'm just gonna say, because Mthethwa has played well in the past few games, I'm gonna say it's gonna be probably Mthethwa, Cele, and maybe Nkosi Ngcobo. For now, that is the the combination I'm thinking of now, even though I don't see how Undlovu is not going to start, but I just don't know how he's going to start, especially when you have this midfield dynamic. So that's going to be the tricky part. I've told you guys so many combinations, and before I started the midfield, I told you it's going to be our biggest problem, because at the front it's a bit easier to decide. We already know Lilepo is going to play. We already know Uduba is going to play. And for me on the left, I think because we're playing Sundowns, I think Modi is going to start. A lot of people are thinking that Dushabalala and Serino are going to start together. I don't think that's going to happen this game. I think Modi is going to start on the left, Duba, and then on the right, Lilepo. Because there's one thing Modi gives you that the others don't necessarily give you, and that is the defensive side. Modi is good in the defense, but then he also assists in going forward. So he can take on players one-on-one, he can make the run. So that's what Modi is going to give. And you do need fast players when you're playing Sundowns, which is why the playing a 10 like Serino or Dushabalala is also going to be an important decision, because we need the ball to find the runners. If we don't find the ball that finds the runners, that's where the problem is going to start. But other than that, that's the starting lineup. You guys tell me what you think. It's going to be an interesting game, because I'm now saying Duba is going to start, but there's a chance Flávio may start. It's going to be an interesting game. And the interesting part for me in this game is it's not really the conceding part, because I'm backing Peterson, and I know our defense is going to make some issues here and there, but it's the scoring part. That's going to be the biggest part that will determine whether we win. And a lot of people are going to be like, no, but in the past few games, we've been winning, and our defense was the reason we won. And I'm like, you are very right. But you see, against Sundowns, it's not going to look like a lot of the past few games, because we won't have the ball a lot of the time. So our defense is going to be put under a lot of pressure. So now it's going to be about what are we going to do against these slow defenders of Sundowns, because these slow defenders of Sundowns are beatable. This is the weakest they've looked. And with their Mbobo Vulega keeper, this is the time where we have to punish them. So we need to make a plan to get past Ronwen Williams. And we need to make a plan to get behind their defenders and to score a lot of goals. Because tomorrow, Sundowns can top up 4-1 or 4-0. Let me say 4-0 because I like the zero bet. Sundowns can top up a 4-0 tomorrow. And I know you guys, some of you are looking at Sundowns very highly. But the reason why I say Sundowns can top up 4-0 is because I've seen for a very long time. Guti Cardoso. Yabana Cardoso ball, it's beatable. Cardoso ball is beatable. Amakhosi for life.